Oops, I forgot to consult hair and makeup. Let's have a little drive together. Now I am on the back roads, and so we might lose connection to the space beams at some point along the way. But I was inspired to offer this pop up storytelling to speak about the magic of metaphor, the science of symbolism. I have to say, Koa might know more astrology than any 8-year-old in the world. That's probably not true, but I bet you he's top 10. Or I should at least say Earth astrology. I mean, he has such an amazing mind and a really amazing sense of direction, something he and I share. But his gift of memory is beyond. I mean, he's been whipping me at memory games since he was like, I don't know, 4 or something like that. And Ko is actually really good at card games and whatnot. I remember when I taught him Uno just to be disgraced by his Uno powers. And while there's enough luck in that game, it's pretty amazing to see him play like 5 crowns and whatnot. And lately we've been doing some escape rooms together and such. But it's cool to see, you know, a bright young mind. And Ko was at Waldorf school, and so they're in a very kind of a mythical, you know, learning and musical and creative learning. Some things lately where his mom and I are like, what? But in general, we're kind of trusting that space and trusting the process. And then he's he's very curious and interested and avid learner. So we've been spending time, so it's a long drive to school for us. And I'm doing more and more of those shifts because baby girl comes in, well, less than a month, if at due date. Anyway, sometime super soon. And so mom could use more rest, bath time and whatnot. Anna's on maternity leave now, which is amazing. And I'm trying to also offer some relief from, you know, things like taking the long drive to school and back. So here we go. I did just get a text from her about dinner tonight. That's great. All right. So anyway, Ko and we watched the movie Castaway on the plane flight actually back from Hawaii. And literally right when the pilot announced that there was going to be like 40 minutes of turbulence, so sorry that he had to leave the seatbelt sign on, we started the movie Castaway, which you probably know, and I hope I'm not just giving it away. So, you know, warning there. But there's a plane crash into the Pacific Ocean. And so we're watching this like plane crash into the Pacific Ocean scene. And he's just totally cool, which I'm amazed by. I mean, I remember when I used to enjoy turbulence. He does. And now it kind of freaks me out. But anyway, we watched that movie because for me, it's the greatest metaphor in modern kind of astrological alphabet astrology. It's just brilliant. I mean, it moves through the signs, through the seasons. It's very much like modern northern hemisphere. Aries equals the first house astrology, which is not my astrology. Oh wow, beautiful coyote. And now we slow down and wait to make sure no coyote friends or babies. Coyotes are so cool. It's so Gemini. Anyway, yeah, I mean, my astrology is very focused on helping folks know that houses are entirely different things than signs. That being said, the seventh house does smell a lot like the perfume of Libra, you know? And I think teaching this conflation of signs and houses has become a corruption in modern astrology, and yet is also a convenient and simple symbolic tool to get folks started. The issue is when we start a practice with bad habits, they can be very difficult to kick later in life. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been outside with astrologers who have been at it for time, asking things like, okay, point to the third house, which, by the way, you better be pointing down beneath the ground if you want to do that right. And they'll spin around looking for the Gemini constellation in the heavens, and it's like, oh my, like, oh no, constellations are different things and signs are not houses, you know. And so I don't want to necessarily natural houses where Aries is first or a second. There's a work to that. There's actually an astronomical framework for it as well. The truth is the North Pole of Earth leans towards tropical Cancer, towards the cardinal cusp. I mean, the pole defines the cardinal directions, and the cardinal cusps are aligned to the cardinal directions of Earth. So Cancer is north, Capricorn is south. Like, the northern bounds of the sun's path is the Tropic of Cancer, and Tropic of Capricorn the southern bounds. And we have an eastern place as well from the center of Earth. That's the cusp of tropical Pisces and Aries, right? So cardinal Aries is cardinal east. Cardinal Libra is cardinal west. That's why the Libra glyph looks like the setting sun, friends. So that the tropical signs are like our planet Earth's houses. Now, that's from the center of the Earth, which is actually where we measure the planets in the signs from, not the surface where you and I live. But you and I do live on the surface, and that's where we have unique or particular expression of the planets in the houses. So signs, whole, below, center, houses, particular, above, surface. And that's how it goes, yo. But when I teach like the alphabet, which, by the way, I stop at the first is like Aries. I don't add anything about Mars in the first house. I see how it works from a symbolic point of view. But Mars traditionally joys in the sixth, and there is a lot more to that from my point of view. You know, modern astrology will say the sun is the natural ruler of the fifth, and you ask, why in the hell would sun want nighttime? That is dumb, pardon me, but it just really shows how far the astrological apple in modern times has fallen from the tree of its roots, which is nature. The sun on average moves through the fifth at like 8 to 10 p.m. That is not solar. Traditionally, the sun rejoices in the ninth, which is the most solar time of day. The moon rejoices in the third, which is the most nocturnal time of night, if we are defining these delineations of houses by following the sun, which we should. That's the ancient clock, y'all. So the sun joys in the ninth, moon in the third, Venus in the fifth. It's the hours of passion and romance and risk. Jupiter in the 11th, Mars in the 6th, Saturn in the 12th, and Mercury in the 1st, which is actually the only one of that really kind of supports a whole sign point of view, because from a whole sign perspective, part of the first sign is always above the horizon and part is always below, and Mercury is always everything both. Okay. Anyway, this movie Castaway is a vehicle that I use to teach the archetypes of the signs. And I really can't do that without doing, from this kind of modern approach, a conflation of signs and houses and much more. Like, if you know that film, he's screaming about don't turn your back, don't commit the sin of turning your back on time. You know, it's like so shadowy. Capricorn, Saturn. He replaces an analog clock, Capricorn, with a digital countdown timer, kind of Capricorn becoming Aquarius. He's on a cell phone in front of the Kremlin. It's like there's all this Aquarius, Capricorn cusp and kind of image of Saturn. He describes over a cell phone a problem with his tooth, the tips of the bone, which are ruled by Saturn, from the cold lands of Russia, and on and on. At solstice time, I mean, I could go on, and I do, and I will actually be teaching a kind of deep dive archetypes class as part of my Astrology 101 as I start creating curriculum for beginning astrology students, including kids, but that will offer new insights also to folks that have been around the wheel many times. And I will certainly use this text or movie Castaway as a vehicle to describe the signs. It's amazing, and it's offering this really like wonderful place for Koa and I to talk about signs in such a way like that we have a story line, right? So he's seen the film, he has this amazing memory, right? Like, I was asking him this morning as we're driving to school about, you know, this particular scene, and he just quotes the dude in a way that I couldn't remember, which is perfect. Well, it also, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of pop up and share with you right now, it also, and astrology in general, it offers this, sorry, I just drove by a bunch of goats who are mowing the lawn on a hill, you know, and one of them was climbing a empress tree and eating the purple flowers. And I cannot tell you how much that scene means to me. Like the goat, the empress tree, the yellow grass, the electric fence that cages this herd of goats in, and, you know, the kind of analog lawnmower of goat mouth, and on, right? And so I just wanted to speak about something that you very much know about, right? It's like the efficiency of symbolism, the science of a symbol, the magic of metaphor. And so today, for example, I was, you know, explaining to Koa what a metaphor was. And, you know, I was talking with him about Kremlin and, you know, Russia and the point of view of Russia, and, you know, especially when I was a kid and now again, and, you know, and how therefore just like showing the Kremlin in the background in this film with the truck broken down, and it like has these things to say. And how metaphors are going to invoke a personal experience. They use a collective archetype to invoke personal relationship, right? And the kid is just like, he gets it. So we are also in really tricky space, because if you know that film, first of all, it starts with a delivery truck at the crossroads. Hello, Mercury. But then we drive under this archway that says Dick and Bettina. Later in the movie, it just says Bettina. And so Koa and I are speaking about how that's symbolism for Libra. I'm actually leaving the houses out of it with him, and just using it to teach signs so that I don't create a habit where he's completely conflating the two. And I'm also speaking about Northern Hemisphere seasonal experience and why the seasons are opposite in the Southern Hemisphere and all sorts of Earth astrology things along the way. But the tricky bit is, like, if you know the film, and I didn't actually know this until maybe the 5th time I saw it, the package that she sends overseas to Russia, long away journey, foreign lands, foreign culture, like so Sagittarius, right? The package carries divorce papers because Bettina's husband, Dick, is acting like a dick. And actually, well, I lost you and I need to wrap this up. I was just saying that I really appreciate the science of symbolism, the magic of metaphor, and this opportunity of transmitting Earth astrology and astrology to broach difficult topics, right? Including marriage and divorce. And so that's more than anything what inspired me to pop up today and say, hey, I hope you know that 11:11 a.m. Pacific time every Wednesday I have storytelling hour. And they've been fun. So I hope you'll join me there this Wednesday. See you in space, friends. Oh, and Winder, I agree. Animal Farm, an amazing metaphor for sure. How do we end this thing?